Hey everyone, and welcome to the 1 hour Vibe Coder course. This is me, I'm Kobi Omenaka, and I'm going to try and learn how to vibe code 1 hour a day for the next 30 days. And I want you guys to join along with me and see what we can both get out of this. One thing I should say right from the start is I know nothing about coding. Well, that's not true. I make WordPress sites, so I know a little bit about coding, but I don't know how to make an app. I don't know how to create some software and put it on the internet. I don't know how to make some software and use it locally on my computer, and that's something I really want to learn how to do. My background is as a marketer, and before that as a chemical engineer, not a software engineer. So I am quite technical, and I know how to use computers very well, but I don't know how to code. And the reason I'm doing this is because I really want to learn how to make my life easier as a marketer, and also look into the future, learn how to make tools, learn how to make apps, learn how to make things that are useful to make my life easier, and maybe life easier for other people as well. The reason I'm doing this is because I've been looking at lots and lots of vibe coding tutorials, and even though they say they are for beginners, they assume that there is some kind of foundational knowledge, and I can't assume that because I don't know that at the moment. So I'm going to be fumbling along through this. Well, maybe not fumbling. I've done a lot of research, hopefully before pressing play, but I'm going through this step by step, and I don't know explicitly where things are. I don't know the exact jargon to use, but when I do come across jargon, I will explain it to the best of my knowledge and add it to an ongoing kind of glossary. So I don't know jargon, but I'm going to learn to vibe code from scratch in public for 1 hour a day. And if I can make sense of this stuff, then you can as well. And hopefully we can all make some cool stuff together, right? So here is the plan. Every day, I should say, what I'm going to do is start this timer. Okay, I'm going to spend no more than an hour a day going through this. I want to give myself some kind of constraints so I can see where I can get to within an hour, and also make it accessible for me so I don't kind of burn out over the next 30 days, and also give me some time to kind of reflect. So if I can do something in an hour, go away for the next 23 hours and then come back and then see where I can improve and iterate on. And also in that kind of time, do some research as well. So this is the 1 hour vibe code course. Just to say again, I've got no experience in doing this, and that's really the point of it. And that's kind of my superpower as well. Every vibe coding video assumes you know everything or some things, and I don't. So I'll explain it in the simplest ways possible because that's the only way I know how to do so. The goal is to learn vibe coding for myself and build tools that make my life easier, sharing the journey and the resources I use and why I use them as well. And even if one person learns as well, then hey, that's a huge win. And quite selfishly, I want to go back to this and use it as a resource for myself, because I will forget stuff. I'm a forgetful person. What I want for you guys is please be patient. I am fumbling through this. I'll be stepping through this. I'll be making mistakes. I will be honest with my mistakes. And hopefully when I make the mistakes, that means you don't have to as well. If you have any questions, please ask them. I will do my best to answer them. I'll go away and research and come back to you. This is a safe space. There's no dumb questions at all. Please do feel free to ask anything you feel is relevant. And if you are confused, I probably am as well. Because this is a safe space, anyone who does have a lot more knowledge about how these things work and you want to opine or you want to give your suggestions, please do. I'd love to see what you have or your thoughts are in the comments. But please be aware that you'll be talking to people who don't know anything. So if you want to help out and give your opinions, please come from that angle that we don't know anything. I don't know anything. So please do come at it with that kind of perspective. The plan and roadmap for this whole course is, let me move my doohickey to the side. Each session will be an hour. So I have no idea how far I'm going to get in 1 hour. And that's part of the journey. That's part of the journey. That's part of the process. Each session will be an hour. I'll cut out sections where I'm downloading things or entering my credit card details. So the final video will be likely less than an hour. And my aims are to build things, and you see, when I fumble like that, I'm just going to keep it in, because I just want to make this easy for myself to record, upload, and then get on to the next day. But yeah, I'll cut out things where things are downloading. You don't need to see that. We know how to download things, potentially. Hopefully you do. And then through time, over the next 30 days, I'll become faster, be able to explain things more effectively. And hopefully this whole process will be a lot more structured going forward. Over the next 30 hours, I've got a huge list of things I want to try and get through. I've literally no idea how far I'll get through this. I'll share this link to the deck in the description for you guys to have a look at and come along on the journey with me. But for today, basically we're going to try and just get everything you need into the system, and get started. Right? Are you ready? Let's go. So I'm going to use two tools. Cursor. Cursor is a tool which is an integrated development. It's called an IDE, an integrated development environment. And what that means is, and this is stuff I'm finding out only recently, is that it's a way for all the different types of computer code and your files to be organized in one place. So you can actually type the code there if you knew how to do it from scratch. But this is where we're going to get the AI tools, i.e. such as Cursor, such as Claude Code, which I'm going to get to in a second. Those tools will be generating the actual code for us. And it will be organized in this tool, which is a way of writing the code, but also having the files in a organized way, and also being able to see what mock-ups and frame-ups and what the apps look like in a controlled fashion before we then put it onto the internet or make the software for use on our local computer. So we're going to use Cursor, and we're going to use Claude Code. The reason we're using both of these is I've been looking at lots and lots of different types of tools over the past literally 6 months, and people like things like Lovable, Vercel, Replit. If you don't know any of these names, it doesn't matter, don't worry about it. But I've chosen these two because time and time again I keep coming back to videos and tutorials which seem to feel like these two fit me the best. Claude Code is a lot of people know Claude as a competitor to ChatGPT, and a lot of people say it's the best at coding. Cursor, but it doesn't really have its own. Claude Code doesn't have its own IDE platform as of yet, as far as I know. But what it does have is something called a command line interface, or the terminal. The thing is with a terminal, I'll bring up an example of a terminal here. This is a terminal, as you can get it on your computer. This is the Mac version. Typically, this is how a lot of coders like this, because it's a very streamlined way of communicating and generating code with your computer. As a non-coder, this is terrifying to me, but people who know how to code do like it a lot. This is what Claude Code has. Cursor has the integrated development environment, so it looks a bit fancier, and means that we can have a bit more of a fancy output and things go together. So I'm going to install both of these. First of all, Cursor. I'm going to download this. So one thing I should say is I'm going to be using a Mac. I don't know how to transpose these to any other platforms, Microsoft, Linux, but I'm going to use a Mac, and if you guys know your systems, you should be able to follow along as well. But here we go. So dragging this across into applications. Then I'll also so what I'm using, by the way, is Perplexity Atlas browser. So if I have any quick questions, I'm going to type in here. You see, literally, I'm going to be going step by step through this. So how to install Claude Code. Here we go. Let me head back to here. So that's the page for Claude Code. Cursor. Install, authenticate, and start using Claude Code on your development machine. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to install Claude Desktop anyway. And then let's add these both to my Claude app. Is an app downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? Yes, I do. So this is so new to me. I've not actually. I always use ChatGPT and so OpenAI and Perplexity. I've not used Anthropic/Claude before, so I need to set up my own account. I'm going to do that in a second. And then sign in here, and let's also get Cursor loaded. Cool. So I have tried Cursor before, so I'm just going to sign into it. I'm allowing some resources here. So this is Cursor 2.0, 2.1 I should say. A lot of people are very excited about it because of the AI generation using their own AI model called Composer, and hopefully we'll get through to that in a second. But this is now we are agent review, run agent review on any diff to identify logic, security, and or performance issues, and suggest inline comments. Issues are highlighted in your files, ready for Cursor to resolve. It's free for the first week. Now let's have a look at the pricing plans while we're here. Upgrade to Pro, upgrade to Ultra. So the Pro price is $20 a month. Unlimited, extended limit on agent. So the agents is the little bod that will go away and actually generate the code for you based on the prompts you give it, and come back and make the code for you, make the apps for you. Unlimited tab completions, background agents. So that means you can have stuff running in the background, and then we can expand. You can pretty much go up to $200 a month. I'm going to start on the $20 a month and see where we can get to, trying to make these things affordable. And it'll also be really interesting to see what kind of limits there are to the content we can create, to the tools we can create within Cursor, within Claude Code. So I'm going to go here and going to go back to the Cursor tool and upgrade to Pro. Okay, now I'm back. I have subscribed to Pro, and there you go. I'm good for, I don't know, for a minute. And then I also want to go back to Cursor. I've got 43 minutes left today. Cheers. So what I'm looking for here is just quickly to see if there's any clear item or section I need to go to. But once you're in Cursor, you've got a few different windows. It's quite hard to see with the black on black on black. But here on the left-hand side is where the files are. They're going to set up on your computer. This is where the code's generated. This is a terminal section. So this is a command line interface, as I talked about, which is essentially the same as the built-in tool for your Mac or for your PC. And then this here is where a lot of the magic is going to happen, which is the chat pane. So if you give me a second, I'm just going to go and work out how to install Claude Code. Here we go. So this is a key thing we want to look at the start, is the different tools. So the price of how much you spend on generating on AI, on vibe coding, will depend on the AI model that you use. And also that affects the speed. One of the good things about Cursor is that it has a few of the different AI models built into it, including Sonnet, which is a Claude environment, ChatGPT's ones, and Grok, which is the Twitter one. So I'm not going to touch that with a barge pole. I'm going to default to Composer 1, which is Cursor's AI model. It's supposed to be really fast, and from what I understand, it's kind of cost effective as well. So I'm going to start here with Composer 1. I'm going to set it to plan mode. And what we want to do here is use the plan mode to ideate and to plan the tools and the concepts and things we want before we then go to building. It's a lot cheaper to go through the plan mode, and the tool kind of sets things up. These environments set things up in a way that is more structured. Whereas if you go straight into building your tool, then you're more likely to come across errors and go down infinite kind of loops where you just kind of come out with poor code and you're just draining money and your time and things like that. So I'm going to start everything I do in plan mode, which is where we are at the moment. And I'm going to ask it how I install Claude Code. So this is the same chat kind of field as you would use in ChatGPT, etc. So how do I... just clicking a few things called auto to searches the web straight away and brings it back into here. Okay, so there's a few options. These are basically the lines of code that you want to insert into places. I'm going to go for the third route because I know we want to install Node.js. I'm just going to say I'm just going to clarify why we want to install Node.js. And this is a thing I'm going to be doing all the time, is asking Cursor and Claude Code when we install it why we need to do these things, so I understand better and so you guys can understand better. So these are things you can be doing as well. You don't need to be hopefully afraid to try the same things I'm trying out. So why do we need... In fact, I'm going to use my speech to type thing. Why do we need to install Node.js for Claude Code? Node.js. I'm just going to edit this. .js for Claude Code. So npm. Okay, there you go. Let's add that to the Node package manager. Okay, well, I'm going to install Node.js. So head to nodejs.en download, and then continue, agree. Okay, so it says it's installed correctly. I'm going to go back to Cursor. I have installed, and this was the output. Is this correct? So you can actually set up Claude Code and also Cursor to just run code all the time. There are settings which I'll go to at a later point. I'm not sure if it'll be today, but maybe in a future video, where you can just let it run as you get more and more comfortable with it. At the moment, I'm just going to ask it to set to ask every time to run a piece of code for me to check. Installation confirmed. AL confirmed and working. So you can install Claude Code using this. So I'm going to copy that and paste that code back into itself. Again, it's asking each time, so I'm asking it to run. So there's a permission error. npm is trying to install, which requires admin rights. The docs recommend avoiding sudo with npm. Options: configure the npm to use a user level directory. Okay, please do. Configure npm to use a user level directory, then installing Claude Code. Run command this, and then runs command, and then that's gone back to the initial npm install. Let's see if it works this time. Claude Code is installed. Verifying the Claude command is available. Run that. Claude Code is installed and working. Huzzah! Right. So Claude Code is installed and working, which is fab. Claude Console requires billing at console.anthropic.com or Claude app. After authentication, you can use Claude Code. So I want to check here which is the best version, which is the best way to do billing. So I understand by the API method, there's a difference between the API method versus another way. So I'm going to copy this and go into Perplexity, Atlas, have just installed Claude Code, and have this comment. I understand. You explain what this means. Okay, so when you run Claude Code in your terminal for the first time, you'll have to authenticate using Claude Console, which requires API billing at console.anthropic or the Claude app using Pro or Max plan. This shows how much usage we'll have. Claude Console, API billing console. If you choose this option, it'll authenticate via the Claude Console and must have active billing enabled at console.anthropic.com or via the Claude app. Okay, so which is better? I want to really limit and have more control, more easy control about our budget. Okay, well, there we go. So to start off with, I'm going to limit my spend. I'm going to go for the Pro plan at $20 a month. Except when I hit my limit, usage is blocked. And this is fine, hopefully. So that hopefully it resets every day. And because I'm going to just code for a little bit a day, then that makes me understand fully what I'm spending on a day-to-day basis. What will be quite interesting to find out is how quickly I hit those limits. And if I do hit those limits frequently, do I then want to go to a different method via the API or increase to the max plan? And let's find out. So I'm going to go to, so the key thing here is that you won't be charged for extra usage, which I think is nice at this stage. So back to Cursor. And then I think I'll just type in run Claude in my terminal, which is here. I'll just type Claude. Oh, I think I'm in, how do I clear my terminal? What I really like about this is I'm just going to, I've got a problem here. I don't know how to solve it necessarily, specifically. So I have this in my terminal. Mean, and how do I add Claude? And how do I add Claude? Or if I just cancel this terminal? No. How do I get it back? As I said, guys, fumbling around. Okay. So here we have, this is me learning at a later date how to navigate around here. So we have the few different areas of the cursor. Everything's turned off at the moment, so this is just the code as it comes out. Now I've toggled on the chat panel, which is this on the right hand side where I've been entering the prompts. The sidebar here is where the files get generated and the code gets the location that the files are generated, then we put all the files and the content into there. And then we have the panel, which is this doohickey at the bottom. Now, how do I clear terminal? Do I clear the terminal? Okay, let's click. You can hit clear or reset. I'm going to try reset. Now if I type Claude, this clears the screen and sets terminal settings. Okay, since using bash, add the path to your bash profile. You can either add it to this, or just run this in your current terminal session. Honestly, guys, no idea what this is talking about, but I'm going to try it anyway. So when I press up here, it's the up arrow. I'm going back to the previous terminal sessions. Sorry, the commands I've entered. What's going on here is I think I'm in my, I created an MCP folder directory a while ago. I think that might be what's going on. Okay, so yeah, when I started playing around with this a few months ago, I did create this folder, development cursor MCP. So here, when I go to Finder, development, and this one called cursor MCP. So I need to change directory, which I know is, okay, let's go to ls, is for list directory. So I'm here, Strip Media, Google Analytics, test tutorial. So change directory is CD. I do know this much. How do I change to the development folder? Okay, so CD. What directory do I need to be in? To run the Claude code. So it can be in any directory apparently. Make sure Claude Code is in your path. If you're using Bash and haven't added it to your Bash profile yet, you might need to either okay, let me just do this. I've copied this code, added it there. Then type Claude. Oh, okay, something's happened. So this looks like it's happy now. Fine. Again, guys, fumbling through. Let's see how much time we have at the moment. We've got 20 minutes left. So now I've installed Claude Code and I also have Cursor up and running. And you can see about going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, asking this chat panel about how to implement. Okay. I'm happy to just stick with this dark mode and we'll go from here. So what else was I wanting to do in this session? Okay, so I need to set up my payment with Claude. So pricing, overview. So I'm going to do the Claude. Okay, so already logged into my account, and let's do the upgrade. Because you need to be on any paid account in order to do this. Get the Pro plan, monthly, so it's £18 a month. Again, I'm going to cut here as I add my card payment details in. Fabulous. I'm in. I'm paid up to Cursor. Let's close this down. I've downloaded Node.js. Let's close this tab down. I've set up Claude Code within my IDE environment. So let's close that bad boy down. Cursor's set up. Okay, now I need to, how do I do my Claude Code account? So it's saying on first run, it will prompt me to authenticate, but it hasn't done that yet. Okay, select login method. Claude Code can be used with your Claude subscription or build based on API usage through your console account. And this is the Claude Code. This is the login method. So I'm going to click on one. Then it's going to connect with this account, which I have, as I said, just paid for. I'm all set up now for Claude Code. I can close this window. Going back to Cursor, login successful, Kobi at cursor.io. Press enter to continue. Claude can make mistakes, guys. Just realized I might have been, my dumb face might have been blocking this as I was doing it. Apologies. Again, fumbling through and working through. I'm going to keep this on the left-hand side as I go through. But yeah, so apologies if you couldn't see me as I type things in, but it should have manifested on the right-hand side. Okay, so now I have Claude in the terminal, and then I have Anthropic set up here. And the next thing to do is to set up a directory, which is the folder structure, which is where I want to be running projects going forward. So as I said here, I have within my folders, I have this development folder where in the past you can see I have looked at Python, like 2015, tried iOS 2014, so this is like 10 years ago. I can't remember any of this. When I do make stuff on WordPress, I did make stuff on WordPress, I used to put in here. So I have this folder set up on my computer, and I'm going to do everything within here. I'm going to set up another directory called 1 hour vibe coder. Okay, please navigate. Okay, so now I've got this here. I'm going to, what command? Going back to Claude Code, terminal setup for your optimal settings experience. Enable the recommended settings for your terminal. Do you trust the files in this folder? Yes. This is the development folder that I just showed you guys. So we have this terminal, which again, for clarity, is essentially another version of this, but between the terminal here and the terminal window here and the chat window here, we should be able to ask natural language questions of Claude Code or of Cursor within here to help us move forward. Tips for getting started: run init /init to create Claude MD file with instructions for code. What does /init So it's going to create a file, claude.markdown, which saves at the project root. This file so it's project specific. So I think whenever you set up a new project, you should set up this /init command, which creates a documentation, which then helps us to define and set up every part of the tool or app or system we're setting up. It helps Claude maintain context about your project across multiple sessions, especially, like I said, if we're going to be shutting down and spinning up every hour. This is really useful. You can customize the generated Claude MD with your project's overview, architecture patterns, development guidelines. Okay. Should I set this up at the highest level? Or just at a project level? Okay. So for each project we do, we set it up at the project level rather than at the highest level, which is the development directory. Fine. What directory are we in at the moment? Okay. So cd change to the 1 hour vibe coder. Okay, so we're now in this directory, which is where I'm going to put any projects that I'm going to be working on over the next 30 days. Because I don't use terminal day in and day out, I don't know all the codes. There's things like ls, which I know for listing what's in the directory, which is what's in each folder. CD, which is change directory, but then I don't really know what to write after type in CD. So I love how I can just ask it using natural language to move to a different folder. So I'm going to ask it now to create a new folder called project 1. Please create a new folder. In fact, I'm going to use the speech to type. Please create a new folder called project 1, which is where I will run the first project as part of this 30-day series. Okay, yeah, that was the command mkdr make directory. So mkdr is make the is what the command would have been if I'd remembered it. So again, I love the fact I can just ask it naturally. Create project 1 and verify. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Yes, and don't ask again. I'm going to just keep it open for a moment. Just click on yes. Number 1 for yes. Would you like me to navigate to it and run init to set up Claude MD file for this project? So let's see, just go back here. So we have project 1, which has been set up, which wasn't there before. And if we go into it, there's nothing at the moment. So if I say yes, initialize a new Claude, I'm just going to just put yes for the moment. As we get forward, as we move on, I'm going to let it do more and more things without me having to approve it. But just for the time being, as I'm understanding what's happening, I'm going to let it guide me to it. Do you want to create Claude MD file? I do. So click on 1 for yes. Create a Claude.md. Since this is a brand new project with no code yet, I've created a minimal starter file. As you develop the project and add code, build tools, or establish patterns, you can update this file with build, run test commands, architecture decisions. Don't know what any of this means, but this is lovely. So let's go to the directory, and you can see there is a Claude MD, .md, which is a markdown. And I click on it. This is a super lightweight file, which is lovely. Okay, good. How much is there on the timer? I have to go to this session. I've got 3 minutes. Okay, so guys, I'm just going to do a quick rundown of what's happened today and explain in the last kind of few minutes. So I've gone from not having Claude Code and not having Cursor on my platform to installing them, getting them working, making sure that it has access to the things I need on my platform. Then I've also subscribed to both platforms and set it up so that Claude Code runs on the Pro plan, which will cap the amount of spend. So I'm limited to £18 a month, and Cursor I've set up on the Composer AI model, which means nothing as yet, but hopefully tomorrow we'll start using that a bit. And that means that, again, I think we're on the cheapest plan. It's Cursor's built-in plan, and it's supposed to be rapid fast as well. So I think that's a good place to stop. We've set up everything we need to do. I've navigated through the terminal. I've worked out that we can use terminal and via Claude Code and use it in a very much natural language way. And also we have the chat pane within Cursor. And I'm really interested to see which side of things I use more going forward. So do stick with me as I go from the other to the other. And tomorrow I'm gonna think about now what I'm gonna try and work out tomorrow, because I think we might be able to actually try and build out a tool, which would be absolutely amazing. Okay, that's half an hour, guys. Thank you very much. And just to say, we have 1 minute 45 left on the timer, but we can stop there. That's absolutely fine. I imagine in some of the upcoming sessions, we will be caught by the buzzer, but not today. So this is what we've done. Everything's installed, basic setup. We'll talk about plan mode versus create mode tomorrow. And maybe go a bit more into the folders, files, and directories. Okay. Who's going to stay right through to the end? Not me, I don't think.